right. Welcome back to the WFT Declassified Podcast, your home for all things Washington Commanders. We are having a blast doing the podcast for you guys. We want to say thank you to everybody listening on audio platforms. Make sure you subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. Everybody watching us on YouTube, you are now our family as well. Make sure you subscribe and tell your friends to subscribe. The button is right there. It's not that hard. Go ahead and click it. You won't regret it. We promise. We have some shout outs tonight. We got a lot of folks on Twitter watching us, several thousand a week. But there's a few folks out there that interact with every video we do. Brian, you want to give them shout outs?
Yeah. First guy, Merle Garrett. Awesome. And you comment on every video. Awesome. So we appreciate you. Keep doing it. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, feedback, all of it. We appreciate the discussion. And then I think you've got the other guy.
Yeah, we got a couple of folks here I'm going to get some shots out to. And by the way, it's not just the fact that you comment, it's the fact that they're intelligent takes on that, and they always provide great information. So thank you. Keep going. We got our guy, Dan. Dan's out there always providing good feedback. Or excuse me, I said Dan. It's Thursday. I meant Dale Connors. Thank you, sir, for commenting as well.
Dan Connors, like Roseanne's husband. That's where you're going.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you're stuck in the 80s.
Man, when I was born. That's right. All right. Anyway, let's kick this show off. Today, we are going to be talking about draft needs. You guys know, like I know, the draft is right around the corner. Okay. It's combine season. This is real, guys. And we are expecting to change our franchise through free agency and through the draft. And I'm ready to see it. Eric, I'm going to kick it to you. Start us off with your list of draft needs for our football team, please.
Number one draft need. Well, I'm going to assume that we get a quarterback not named Jameis Winston in free agency or in the offseason. So I'm going to take, if we don't, then quarterback is need number one. If we don't do that, I'm going to roll with middle linebacker as our top need, be it offseason. I think draft is a good spot for that. Middle linebacker primarily, defensive back number two. I think our corners and safeties especially, we need depth and we need help there. And my number three, I always love offensive line depth, so I'm going to go with offensive line depth as well. Possibly a backup running back as well, since we all picked that in our mock draft.
Yeah. I think those are pretty common needs there. And those are all positions that you can get effective players in the draft from, even if it's not the first round. I think you've seen a lot of linebackers come in rounds 2 or later and be extremely effective in the NFL. So I'm very encouraged by the prospects there. That means you are up, Brian. What do you got for your draft needs for us?
Draft needs right off the jump. Even if we sign a mid-tier, mid-level quarterback via free agency, they are going to be stopgaps. They are not going to be the future. We need a future. We need a homegrown guy. So draft need number one has to be the quarterback. Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, Sam Howell, Matt Corral, whoever it is, whichever one you like, go get him. The Trubiskys, the Jameis, the Mariotas, the Jimmy Garoppolos, they're all stand-ins. They'll be here a season, maybe 2, and then we're left with undrafted guys and Kyle Allen and Taylor Heineke. We need legitimate passers on our team. Go get a guy that we can start this new Commanders era with. Number 2 draft need, free safety. You guys know where I stand on Bobby McCain and these long touchdowns, wide receivers running open down the middle of the field. Can't happen. Free safety. We've got to get one. Number 3 draft need, middle linebacker. We didn't have one. We literally played a whole season without a middle linebacker. Cole Hoke played like every snap, and that ain't going to get it done. We need a middle linebacker who can line guys up, who can stop the run, who can run sideline to sideline. We need that guy. The next pick, similar to Eric, interior offensive line. Sheriff's leaving. Wes Schweitzer's probably going to step up and be the starter at right guard, which means our depth is going to get tested because he was one of our depth guys. So we're going to need a replacement for him. And then after that, this one's a little bit different. Edge rusher is our next need. We've got 4 first-round picks on our defensive linemen, and only one of them was able to bring pressure. That ain't good enough. And you saw what our defense was like when we couldn't get pressure. The entire back end got exposed over and over again. So we need more pressure. We need another edge rusher in our rotation bad. And then running back. I think we need another running back, another inside runner, somebody who's got good vision, somebody who's also not a converted wide receiver. He's a traditional running back who can pick up some of those yards in the middle of the field. That way, maybe Gibson can be used a little bit more around the entire field, out in space more. And the last one, wide receiver. We're still looking. We only have Terry, so we need some additional help there. So those are my draft needs.
Yeah, and I'm going to use your information to kind of roll right into mine. I disagree with wide receiver being a big draft need. I think that as a fan base, we are largely overplaying our hand when it comes to wide receiver because we got virtually no production out of Curtis Samuel last year, right? And so we are starting to discount the fact that he's a very good player in the NFL. And if he's a healthy wide receiver playing at the level that he did in Carolina, is wide receiver still as big of a draft need for us as we think it is, right?
And you've got De'Ami Brown stepping up as well. I think a different quarterback that can really get the ball downfield. I think we didn't get enough out of Brown last year, and I don't know how much of that was actually Brown's fault. He certainly could have made some plays when he had a chance that he didn't make, but I think, Taylor Heineke, I don't recall. He wasn't really even on the field much, so maybe some of it was his fault, but I think we can get more out of Brown next year. I think we can get more out of a lot of guys we had. Cam Sims, if he comes back, will be another one. So I don't know. I'm always cool with drafting wide receivers because wide receivers are awesome. But yeah,
and
he did list it last, so I give you some props for that.
Yeah, and I don't think we need to spend a high pick or even a mid-round pick, a 6th or a 7th on a wide receiver. I think is final if we don't attack it in free agency. But yeah, I definitely agree that De'Ami Brown. I mean, he was utilized on all deep routes in college. He came here and he's running these little 2-3 yard outs and these little slants over the middle of the field. So I mean, that was a big adjustment for him as well too. So hopefully we get somebody who can push the ball down the field and maybe actually take advantage of Terry, Cam Sims, De'Ami Brown, and some of these other guys.
Yeah, and Eric, you're spot on about De'Ami. I mean, I think at the end of the year, he showed me enough to think that he can put this together. It wasn't consistent, but he was beating guys deep, and I'll take that every day of the week. I think, we need a number 2 receiver, and we believe at this point that's going to be De'Ami because Curtis is probably going to be in the slot, right, or at least moved around in a number of different places and not being a true wide receiver 2 role. And I think Curtis also has the ability to take some of the pressure off of Antonio Gibson too. So in a weird kind of way, Curtis Samuel is a key to this offseason, outside of quarterback, because he can do so many different things when healthy that he might actually reduce some of our other needs in other positions. That's a big if, but we signed him and we gave him the money. So you have to be expecting that to some degree based on the type of player that he is.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think Scott Turner envisioned too. And that's why the offense was so bad without him, because I really think they had the entire design of the offense built around what Curtis Samuel can give them. And sometime around week 4, they should have maybe re-envisioned how things were going to go, but they didn't. So yeah, hopefully we'll see some of that dynamic offense next year with Curtis running it.
But how sad is that if the offense is designed around Curtis and it's not designed around Terry or it's not designed around Gibson, like guys who are here and and then
I think it was the premise of what Samuel could do to open the other guys up. because the way they can move him around and the type of things he can do, he does a little bit of everything. So I think the plan was to use him in a way that would maximize or allow other guys to maximize their potential. It's still a faulty plan because you should never do that. Design an offense around one guy unless it's a quarterback, because you just don't like designing your offense around one wide receiver is not a good idea. But I feel like that's what they were going for last year.
Is Terry the kind of wide receiver that you could even design your offense around? I mean, I know he's a great wide receiver, but like I think of like a Jamar Chase, right? That the Bengals offense goes as Jamar Chase goes. They do have other weapons. Is Terry that kind of wide receiver? Is he the Julio Jones in Atlanta? You know what I mean? Is he the AJ Brown, I guess, in Tennessee? Is he like that? You have
Tennessee
to have
also has Derrick Henry.
He does. No, you're right about that.
Yeah.
That's a big factor. But
give those other receivers the quarterbacks that Terry's had, and then are we even saying their names? Like I don't even think they are. So to me, yeah.
Well,
he's made chicken salad out of some real
yeah, I think you can. Yeah, you can scheme. I think the offense. I kind of know where Ellie's going with this. I don't think Terry is Devontae Adams, but I think that you should design your offense in a manner that allows him maximum space to work, because his primary strength, his best asset of his game is his ability with the ball in his hands. Once he's made a catch, his yards after catch is fantastic. So you need to design your offense around the ability to get him open. Now, as far as like make him the focal point of every single play, I don't know if he's at that top 3 wide receiver level like Julio Jones has been. Like Devontae Adams is the guy that keeps coming to mind, because he's definitely that dude. Of course, he's got Aaron Rodgers throwing to him too. But so I get what you're saying, but I really think that you could scheme Terry open and make him, even though he's not, the play may not show him as the primary, you can still have him as the primary on the play, just in a manner that he can get. You just want to get him the ball in space, and you should design your offense around the ability to do that.
We don't even have to scheme him open. I mean, we saw him beat corners, and then the ball was late, and he had to come back to go and get the football and then get his head knocked off by, some middle linebacker because he had to stop his route. So, I mean, he can beat coverage on his own. We just got to get him the ball, like, within the rhythm and timing of the offense. So hopefully that happens this year.
Yeah, and I got to be clear. That's not a knock on Terry when I'm saying this. So for everybody listening or watching, I love Terry. It's not a knock, but there is a separation between Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins in his prime, AJ Green in his prime, Jamar Chase now. Who's the guy in Minnesota?
Justin Jefferson.
Jefferson.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson. There are certain guys that are just elite. Stephon Diggs is in that tier. I think he's in the bottom part of that tier of those guys that we're talking about. But it's just, you can't do anything about it. The ball's going that way, and it's going to get there. If you put, and we're getting a little bit off track, but let's have this conversation. If you put, Brian, you said if they had our quarterback situation, you would know their names. I don't agree with that. I think you're going to know who Devontae Adams is, regardless of who his quarterback is. He's just that good.
Some of those other guys, DK Metcalf, AJ Brown, you're not going to know who those guys, if they had Heineke or
anybody catching deep balls isn't going to know.
Yeah, exactly. All these guys.
De'Ami Brown, he's a good example.
Yeah, exactly.
Justin Jefferson, if it wasn't for Taylor Heineke.
Oh, exactly. Come on.
You heard it here first. Get that man.
Let me get to my list. Yeah. I haven't gotten to my draft list yet. Okay, my needs. So I'm not going in any particular order. I'm just going to give you the needs. I think interior defensive line is a need. It's not a high need, but we do need depth because we're probably going to lose some of it in free agency. Settle's going to be out of here. Who knows what's going to happen with Payne? Everybody's trading him in their mock trade rumors. So you never know what's going to happen there. I would love to see some depth at interior defensive line. I also want to see some depth at running back. We talked about it. I don't want it to happen in the second round. I definitely don't want it to happen in the first round. But somewhere in the third, fourth, or fifth round, I'd be okay with that. Just a true, pure running back. That's what I want to see on the roster. And then, you guys covered offensive line. I'm not going to double down on that because I think you guys did a good job of it. I don't think that quarterback is going to be considered a draft need because I don't think that there is any way on this planet that Ron Rivera lets free agency go by without addressing the position. And if you address the position in free agency, I don't find it logical to draft a quarterback in this year's draft. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if you sign a quarterback who's, let's say, 28 years old, 29 years old, and you're probably going to get him in here on at least a 2-year deal because, look, if we don't get an elite guy, we're not going to sign a Jameis or a Mariota or anybody else for 5 years. It's not going to happen. And if we do, there needs to be some serious questions asked about our front office, right? You're going to get a guy for a couple of years, so you're going to need to replace him eventually, but you're not going to do that in the same draft that you sign him. Also, consider if you're drafting a guy in, let's say, the second or third round, you're not really counting on that guy ever becoming your starter, right? It's a possibility. It's a guy you want to try to develop, but generally speaking, third round guys don't grow into your starter out of nowhere. I think what's going to happen is you take the ride with the quarterback that you sign in free agency this year, and then you re-rack next year. And if we're awful or we're not that great, then I think they're going to go up into a much deeper and stronger quarterback class next year and make a move to get somebody. So I don't think you sign a free agent quarterback this year and you go draft another one right behind it this year as well. I can't see that happening. So I'm taking quarterback off my list.
So if the free agent QB that you sign, if he struggles, you just riding with him anyway?
Yeah, well, yeah, because at this point, if your free agent quarterback struggles, your season is done anyway. You also have Heineke behind that person. So it's not like you're going to say, and think about that too. Like, what are you going to do with the rookie quarterback with Heineke and the free agent on the roster? Is your rookie quarterback going to be your third quarterback all year?
You Steve
Probably
McNair.
not.
He could.
Steve McNair was a third stringer all year his first year.
Yeah. I mean,
What year was that, though? What year did he
Yeah,
come into the league? 96?
I think he came in with the Tennessee Oilers. So
And
it's been a while.
We break
Still.
quarterbacks around here. We break them. I mean, who would have thought that Fitzpatrick gets injured in the first game and then goes down?
I did. Eric and I did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily have 6 passes, but definitely did not think he was going to make it through the season.
We might need to stock up on quarterbacks and get like 5 of them and just keep them there in case of emergency. The way we've been going through them the last couple of years.
Yeah, I don't know, man. If we don't get somebody like, I don't even know who, it's going to be bad. Like unless they get Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, it's pretty much them or bust. If Deshaun Watson were to come here, I mean, that would just be the most tone deaf thing ever.
Yeah.
I'm all about it. But it would, I can't, it's just a failure if you don't get a top. I can't imagine the fan base being happy and even the coaching staff being like happy rolling into the year with like Trubisky or Jameis Winston, because that's not going to cut it. And everybody here knows that's not going to cut it. Those guys aren't going to make this. Those guys aren't going to elevate this team. And Ron Rivera's on a hot seat. If he gets a mid-tier quarterback and doesn't draft somebody, this could be his last year with the team, especially with the potential change in ownership anyway. There's a lot that goes into this year. So Ron Rivera really has to have some success this year, because he may have to interview for his own job coming up, in the following season. So I just can't see them not doing something at quarterback besides taking a mid-tier guy. I mean, maybe making a trade for Derek Carr would be like the lowest end thing they could possibly do to not have to do it. But anybody else, man, I just don't know.
And especially after this playoffs where we saw all these young quarterbacks, drafted guys, lead their team into the playoffs, like just for Ron to ignore drafting a guy, that would be tough to swallow.
And to talk as much as Ron has been going on the airwaves talking about taking a big swing and to just completely whiff again like he did on Stafford last year, like I just don't see it.
But drafting a quarterback
always a
is
but.
your get out of jail free card. You can keep that in his back pocket. He can say, look, we were terrible this year. We didn't live up to expectations, but we can go get the kid from Alabama next year or one of the other guys coming out. That changes everything. So And if he uses that get out of jail free card on a second or third round pick this year, that's a waste. I'm going to give you some names that were drafted in the second round last year, and tell me if these guys are in contention for a starting spot this year, because this is the realistic comparison that we're talking about. Kyle Trask in Tampa Bay. There is no way on earth he's going to be the starter next year in Tampa Bay. Does anybody disagree?
No.
I don't know. Yes, I disagree, just out of general purpose.
Just to be ornery. Kellen Mond in Minnesota, they're talking about getting rid of Kirk Cousins. They're not handing the reins to Kellen Mond, are they?
Not by choice.
Why wouldn't they?
Not happening.
Okay.
Davis Mills. Okay, look, I know.
They're rolling with Davis.
Brian. Don't do it. He played.
I like Davis Mills. I like them coming out.
That was my guy. I was like
Davis Mills.
I wanted to draft him besides De'Ami Brown in that third round. If we would have got him, we could have had something here starting to grow. Whether or not it grows into something, I don't know.
Yeah, he wasn't terrible.
He's
probably going to start this year in Houston too.
He had worse weapons than we had, and he actually did something. I mean, there's something to be said for having young passers on your team. And to me, they're lottery tickets. You got to keep going until you hit one of these guys.
It's not how it works, man. Look, and he had 18 touchdowns and 8 picks. I mean, yeah, it was cool. It wasn't like blow you out of the water, though. Like, I mean, he was good for what he was expected to do. He did have Brandon Cooks. All right, Ian Book from Notre Dame. I'm not even going to entertain that one because he's not seeing the field. Sam Ehlinger from Texas. Come on, man. I think he actually started a game or two with the Colts or something, or he was going to, but he's not a starter. But that's the point. So my point is, out of all those quarterbacks that were taken in the second round or later, you got one that potentially could be a starter in the worst possible situation in the NFL, in terms of team structure and team quality, and that's it. Day 2 guys, day 3 guys don't turn into starters. Why force that? Why force it? And you can't tell me that you're going to sign a free agent quarterback and then say, okay, at pick number 11, I'm also going to take a quarterback when we just talked about this gigantic need at linebacker. What's more important to your season? You guys mentioned Ron Rivera might be on the hot seat. I don't think he will be, but you might be on the hot seat after a bad year. So are you going to take a luxury pick of a quarterback for the future at 11, or are you going to draft for your biggest need and your biggest impediment towards your success? I'm guessing he's going to draft for success.
I'm drafting a quarterback at 11 if I don't get one of the top tier guys. I am.
You got to get.
And he can be a bridge. The guy I signed, Jimmy Garoppolo, or Jameis Winston, for the love of all that's holy, please don't.
Jameis
he can be a bridge quarterback.
He made.
I got no love for. I mean, I'm sorry. Last year was an aberration, and he was lucky he got injured when he did, because he would have thrown 30 interceptions last year.
No,
I don't think it would have been. I don't think it would have been that bad. But he was so structured last year, and if he's not going to have that, he's going to be back to his old ways. He is the most creative quarterback in NFL history at finding ways to turn the ball over. He does a really good. It's really impressive. It's a good stat. He fumbles and turns it.
He'll have a lot of freedom here. Scott Turner will tell him, "Hey, here, we'll throw it 45 times. Well, we'll certainly do that, because
some guys should not have freedom, and he's one." No, you're right. But yeah, I think if you sign one of those guys, yes, you absolutely take a quarterback at 11. Yeah. You hope that your guy is there. Maybe Kenny Pickett's there at 11, and if he is,
I think the fan base would erupt if we took another linebacker at 11. As much as we need a linebacker, and I think like Devin Lloyd out of Utah is excellent, Nakobe Dean from Georgia are excellent. I think those guys are worthy of being the 11 pick. I think people would be so upset with another linebacker and not the quarterback, especially if you tell them, "Hey, it's Trubisky starting all 17 games, and that's it." But even the second. Even picking a guy in the second round, here's the thing. Those teams picked a guy because they know, hey, we've got to have somebody on the roster. We've got to have another young arm on the roster to develop, because if you hit on the guy, hey, it's all worth it then, because he can win you games. He can give you that chance to compete. So I'm all in. I'll take as many quarterbacks as I can.
Yeah. If you have a mid-tier
I
guy,
don't
if you
know.
have Jameis or Garoppolo, and Malik Willis is sitting there at 11, do you seriously pass on Malik Willis at 11 if you have the opportunity to take him with one of those guys sitting in front of him?
No,
Like I
you
said
take
this
that.
last week, if you sign Trubisky, this is almost like a deterrent to signing Trubisky because I don't think he's the guy that I don't think you can do that to because he's already been like tortured in the NFL. I think that would probably break him to take a quarterback at 11. But these other guys, if they're there, take them. Yeah, I mean Trubisky, you probably got to hit your wagon too. So maybe you shouldn't sign him. I still think he's going to the Giants anyway. He's going to take Daniel Jones's job. Hey, maybe we can sign Daniel Jones.
2 less losses a year
Yeah.
for us because he kills us.
Yeah.
Oh man. So look, is there one position, Eric, in the draft that you're going to absolutely stay away from?
Long snapper. He did that last year. No.
Cheeseman.
I don't think that really. No. Why would you stay away from anything if you think you can improve your position? Now, if you extend Daron Payne, maybe you don't, spend a high pick on a defensive lineman. But I mean, outside of that, why would you? I mean, you get into the mid rounds. I mean, you take the best player available. If it's depth, you're probably losing some defensive line depth. Even positions of strength. You've got 2 tight ends on the roster, but you can always improve. And Logan Thomas was injured late in the year. So even positions of strength, like, I mean, I would even consider even losing Sheriff offensive line would be a position of strength. And I'd still take one of those guys. I don't think there is other than like a specialist. Now, why would you stay away from any position if somebody is legitimately the best player on your board and he's there? Go ahead and grab him. You'll find a place.
Yeah.
Good football players find their way on the field.
Hopefully so. Brian, you agree with that?
Absolutely agree. Yeah, there's not really anybody to one position. Maybe you say wide receiver. Maybe we don't have to use a first, second, or third round pick on a guy. With that position, but no, if somebody's there and your scouting department, your coaching staff says, hey, this guy is an upgrade, or this guy can be better than what we have, go for it. That's what this whole thing is about, is finding a way and finding a player who's going to make you better, or that you believe will help you win. And if regardless of position, if there's a guy who can do that, do it. So absolutely, get whoever, wherever, get him.
Eric, how much do you trust this front office going into the draft to do the right things when it comes to the picks and potential trades?
They have not wowed me yet. So I'm pretty lukewarm on the front office, but maybe I'll be surprised. I mean, Mayhew's an ex-Redskins, so maybe he'll pull a rabbit out of his hat or something. But I mean, Marty Herney does not inspire a lot of confidence in me. I mean, he wasn't that great in Carolina. He was pretty good, not great. But really, I don't know. I would rather have somebody like what's his name? No, I already forgot his name.
Kyle Smith.
Kyle Smith. Thank you. Yeah, I'm so damaged that he's gone. I'm purging it from my memory. But yeah, like somebody like Kyle Smith, who has like a solid track record of finding guys like that, that hits on mid-round, hits on third-round picks. I mean, we apparently whiffed on our third-rounders last year for the first time in years, and Kyle was gone. So no, I'm not super thrilled about our front office, but I'm willing to be surprised.
And Brian, if you have to trust this front office to get your quarterback at number 11 on a scale of 1 to 10, how good do you feel that they're going to get the right guy?
I'm not feeling real confident with some of the decisions I've seen here. The 2020 season, I felt confident in their decisions. They made sense to me. For the most part, those decisions worked out. And then 2021 happened, and it was the exact opposite. Every decision was bad. They all blew up in their face. So I'm not very confident that they're going to, pick a quarterback. I believe they should and need to, but I'm not confident that they will. And I'm also not confident that they're going to pick the right guy. Because if in their estimation that, even going into last year, right, you miss out on Stafford. in the offseason, and you think, man, our team's really good, so we'll be okay with Fitzpatrick. You have two undrafted guys behind Fitzpatrick in Kyle Allen and Taylor Heineke. You don't think to draft a Davis Mills in the third round. Hey, this is our guy. We have him under team control for X amount of years, dealing with the limited talent of these other two guys who could potentially see the field at that point, right? Because we haven't even played a game. So to me, that was a major mistake that Rivera made. So I'm not real confident that they're going to get this one right. I'm hoping that they get it right. I'm hoping that they really looked at some of the things and mistakes that they made this past season, and they correct them. And then Ron really relies on his staff to kind of guide him instead of him making some of these decisions. Right? Rely on Mayhew, rely on Hurney, rely on that scouting department to give you some of these options here at quarterback and who can be what, and how they can develop. So I'm hoping so, but I'm not that confident.
Yeah, I think a lot of fans identify with what both of you all said in terms of the confidence level or overall lack thereof within the front office. All right, so we talked about our draft needs, and now I got some trivia again for you guys tonight. It's going to be draft focus, specifically on one draft. So if you're listening or you're watching, play along with us. Try to figure this out for yourselves as well as we go through this. Eric is our returning champ. Brian has not yet unseated him as our trivia king, but I have a feeling tonight might be that night.
We got to get Eric some real competition. I'm clearly not at his level here.
No, I think he's going to do something from the 2000s, so you've got a really solid chance.
Here we go.
My brain stopped working in the late 90s.
Before we get started, if you're listening, subscribe. Make sure you're subscribed on whatever platform you're listening on. We're going to go to 1999. 1999. Okay. So on the edge of Eric's mental sphere of his strong point of what's going on with the history of this team. Eric, in 1999, we made a trade. What team did we trade with in the draft that year?
I believe 99 was the year that Mike Ditka lost his mind and sent us their entire draft for Ricky Williams. So that would be the New Orleans Saints.
That is correct. That is correct. Brian, what picks did we get in return for the Ricky Williams selection or pick that we sent to the Saints?
We got their whole draft. So what? First, 4th, 5th, and 7th. I don't think did they I don't know if there was a 6th round, right? It was the whole draft.
That is incorrect. It was their whole draft, but you missed the picks. Eric, what picks did we get?
I don't know. We got like number 7 because we moved back and we were going to take Champ Bailey at like 4 or 5 wherever we were picking, and then we moved back to like 7 and we got him anyway. And yeah, I don't know what the picks were. It was probably 7, 38, 67. I don't know.
We get Jansen that year too?
Yeah, we got Jansen in round 2 that year. Yeah.
2nd round, right?
Yeah.
So
that's about
we got their first round pick. We sent them our 5th overall pick. Excuse me. That's what we sent to New Orleans. We got their 12th pick in the draft, their 71st pick, so that's a 3rd rounder, their 107th, that's a 4th rounder, a 1999 5th round pick, 144th overall, 1999 6th round pick, 179th overall, a 7th round pick, 218th overall, and then a 1st round pick in the year 2000 and a 3rd round pick in the year 2000. Now,
I should have remembered that.
Eric.
Yeah.
Eric, what did we do with the 1st round pick that we got from New Orleans?
Which one? The 99 overall. Or the 2000?
99, 12th overall.
I think we moved back up and took Champ Bailey somewhere.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah. We took him at like 7 or 8. Yeah, 7. Yeah,
7. Yeah. Brian, what team did we trade with to make that deal happen?
To make Champ Bailey. Chargers.
It was close. Eric, do you know who it was?
It was close. How about the Rams?
No,
I don't know.
it was Chicago. They both start with C. That's why I said it was close.
Okay. I was thinking Southern California. Okay. Well, the Rams were in
Brian,
St. Louis by then, I think. Yeah.
Brian, who did the Bears select with that pick in 99 that we traded to them, 12th overall?
No idea. None.
Eric?
Did the Bears take it 12 and 99?
Yep.
Let's see. Was it a quarterback?
Indeed.
It was. Let me think. I keep thinking Rashad Salam, but that was way too late.
And he was a running back.
Yeah, but they moved. No, he was a quarterback. I thought it. I don't remember. Did they take McCown? Josh McCown?
Oh, so close. It was Cade McNown.
Cade McNown. Okay, yeah, it was something like that. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
They also got our 3rd round pick in that draft as well. For that trade to move up to 7. Do either of you guys know who they took? It was a player in that
The
draft.
Bears took in the 3rd round.
Yep. With
Bears
that pick
took?
that we sent them. You're not going to get it. You won't.
Walter
get it.
Payton. No.
It was Dwayne Bates. Now, let's talk about the picks that we actually made. With the 4th round pick, right? So after we traded for Champ Bailey, our next pick in that draft, after we traded those picks to Chicago, was the 4th round, number 107. Eric, do you know who we took in the 4th round in 1999?
Wait, we took Champ Bailey and we took John Jansen, and then in the 4th round of 99,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't Barber. Barber was 98. Sorry, I'm trying to think. Give me a position.
Yeah, what position?
Give me a position.
Well, now I got to bring out my Google machine.
So it's not somebody that was a star. It was just some rando.
I would never make it that easy for you. You know this.
Yeah. Was it Mike Sellers? I don't know.
No, he was. I don't know what position he played. Oh my gosh, I got to find it. Okay. It was not Mike Sellers.
Okay.
It was Nate Stimson.
Oh. Okay. He didn't even make the team. He didn't even make the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did not.
I don't even know that name.
I'm going to make this easy. We're going to go easy now to finish this up. In the 2000 draft, with the 1st round pick that we got from
I know this
New Orleans, who do we take, Brian?
I'll let my teammate Eric answer this one.
So that was I'll make it easy on you. It was New Orleans was the 2nd worst team in 99. So they had a very high draft pick.
Yes. And he has something in common with Micah Parsons.
Oh, LeVar Arrington?
And Allen Robinson. No, there you go. Yes.
LeVar Arrington.
All right, Eric. Finish us up here. In 2000, the pick that we got from New Orleans, or the 2nd pick we got, was a 3rd round pick, number 64 overall. Who did we take?
I thought you were going to ask me what we did with the 1st round pick. That one I knew. We traded it along with San Francisco pick that we had. Or no, we traded it with Carolina. We traded our pick and the Carolina pick that we got for Sean Gilbert, and we moved up for Chris Samuel. That I remember. But what pick was it? 3rd round?
3rd round, 2000, number 64 overall.
2000. No, that was Norv Turner's last year. Was not. Give me a position. Yeah, I need a position. If you have to Google it, I probably don't know the answer.
Was a defensive back.
A defensive back.
3rd round, number 64 overall.
I
finished
got
his career with 0 interceptions and 1 sack.
Oh, that's
Also 19 tackles for his career.
Was it Rashad Bauman?
It was not Rashad Bauman. Way
Okay.
too early.
Way too early for him.
He
No, I
was
don't know.
so this player played 3 years in the NFL. And his name was Lloyd Harrison. Lloyd
Harrison. Actually, I do
from
kind of remember
Jamaica.
that guy.
Mhm.
Okay, Lloyd
I have
Harrison.
no
Yeah.
recollection of that guy.
Yeah.
None at all.
So for all those people that are out there thinking that we Google the answers while he's asking them to us, or we pre-planned this, you should now know that we do not. We both were horrible on those.
Answers.
Yes. So look, out of that draft, we effectively got LeVar Arrington and we got Champ Bailey. Did we, in your opinion, Eric, do a good enough job manifesting talent from that draft?
No, we did not. There were other players available that we probably could. I mean, I don't remember everybody that came out. I actually, like hindsight, I always think back to that 2000 draft, and then we were in a position that we could have gotten. I believe it was Nick Mangold, and had we stuck with, because I think it was like picks. We had like 17 and 24 or 12 and 24. I can't remember which one, but there were some like legit players that we could have taken had we not traded up, but then we would have lost out on either LeVar Arrington or Chris Samuels. But I thought Chris Samuels would have been a better number 2 pick than Arrington even at the time. I was very unpopular with fans that I argued with. That was way before the internet chat rooms though, so wouldn't have been as bad as now, but I would have been very unpopular on Twitter if I had advocated for Chris Samuels over LeVar Arrington. But in hindsight, I would have been right. But yeah, I think we could have done a lot. We could have gotten a lot more, especially when you look at the rest of that draft, like after Champ Bailey and John Jansen. Like we got zippy out of that. And that was Charlie Casserly's last draft. And he was noted for his ability to find like mid and late round guys. Like that was his specialty, because he was trash with first round picks like his entire career until that Champ Bailey pick. I mean, go look at his first round picks. They were awful. Outside of Champ and, Kennard Lang was okay, but Casserly really, he was kind of on his way out, so maybe he wasn't that into it, but he didn't do well in the mid-late rounds at all, because we really got nothing out of that draft outside of Champ Bailey, who we had for 5 years. So, yeah, and Jansen.
Yeah. Once in a lifetime draft trade. That trade will never happen again, where somebody says, here's my whole draft. Go make yourselves happy.
Let me go get a running back.
Of all things. All right. Brian, we're on the way out. What are your final thoughts or any lasting thoughts for our listeners?
Two thoughts. I think I saw this week Rivera made a comment about possibly, of course, extending Terry, which I think everybody's in agreement with, but also extending Payne. I wanted to see what your guys' thought was on that. And then also I saw something about the team possibly releasing Landon Collins before whatever the date is, June 1st or whatever, because of salary cap, his salary. What are your guys' thoughts on those two potential re-signing Duran? Good idea, bad idea. Salary cap casualty, Landon Collins, good idea, bad idea.
So generally speaking, go ahead, Eric. I'll go after you.
Yeah, I'm fine with re-signing Duran Payne if you can do it. I think he's great. He's a great trade candidate if you're looking to upgrade at quarterback. He's a guy that you can throw in because he's got his 4th year and he's got his 5th year option that the team could still pick up. So you essentially got him for 2 years. So he's a good trade chip. But I like Duran Payne, and I would love to see him, here for the long haul. That defensive line is going to get really pricey though, because you've got Sweat coming up the year after him, and then potentially Chase Young after that. So it's going to get pricey to keep all those guys. But I wouldn't have a problem keeping him. But I think if the trade is done for a quarterback, I think Duran Payne is part of it. As far as Landon Colin goes, he's had to change his role. He was very good when he changed his role, but he wasn't happy. So I think it's best for both parties if he probably goes elsewhere.
Yeah. And I think for too long, we've been willing to let talent go. And we just haven't been a talented enough team on the football field. Now, Now that you have Deron Payne, I think you have to really make an honest effort to sign him. You can go back and argue, was it the right thing to do to spend 4 first-round picks on a D-line in today's NFL? I think the answer to that for me is no. Spread around the talent on your team and fill some holes elsewhere. It's great to have a D-line. It sounds great on paper, but you can plug some decent tackles in there to help stop the run. But if you don't have linebackers in secondary, it's not going to matter anyway. So yeah, I think we got to make an effort to sign him because he's the guy that we've already spent the draft capital to get him. Don't let our good talent walk away from us. All right, Eric, final thoughts on the way out, sir.
I got to do more draft homework and free agency homework so I don't look so foolish in trivia next week.
You're still winning, by the way. So
barely. That was awful. That was a bad game.
We've got to get Eric some better competition than me. It's no match. There's no match here. I've got to bring in a ringer or somebody. We've got to find somebody who's who could give you a game, Eric.
Listen, we could go get Charlie Casserly, and he would still lose to Eric. Eric is that good with his trivia. So
I would like to have a chat with him about his 1999 draft strategy. But yes, please do get him.
Yes, we'll bring him on. All right, folks, thank you so much for rocking with us. Make sure you check out the site, WFTdeclassified.com. We do have a sponsor now. They are on the site. Go hit the link. Go gamble. I never thought I'd say that before, but if you want to go out to the site, our link is up there. Click that link. Make sure you sign up with them, register, create an account, and start winning some money. Start winning some money. If you win money, come tell us about it. If not, I don't want to hear about it because you know the risk when you do.
You got March Madness coming up, so go do it.
Yeah, and you can find all that info at WFTdeclassified.com. Hit the site, read the stories, watch the videos, hit the links. Go gamble. Jeez, go gamble and win some money for your peeps. Otherwise, make sure you're subscribed on all platforms, anywhere and everywhere. It is very important when you watch our videos that you like, comment, thumbs up, heart, whatever you want to do. Give us a reaction, give us some feedback. It helps our platform grow. We do appreciate it. Everybody have a tremendous day. We are out of here.